Criston Cole was the character I hated the most in House of the Dragon. Not Aegon, not Larys, not even Daemon at his worst. Criston Cole. Every time he appeared on screen, I found myself disliking him even more. His bitterness, his hypocrisy, his obsession with Rhaenyra, his violence, everything about him irritated me. So I never questioned it. I simply accepted that he was one of the worst characters in the show. But then I rewatched Season 1, Episode 4, King of the Narrow Sea. And for the first time, I realized I had completely misunderstood him. To understand Criston Cole, you first have to understand where he came from. Unlike almost everyone around him, Criston wasn't born into privilege. He wasn't a prince, he wasn't the heir to a great house, he wasn't even the son of an important lord. He was the son of the steward to House Dondarrion, a man from a humble background, someone whose greatest achievement came entirely through his own effort. Everything Criston became, he earned. His sword, his reputation, his place at court, and finally, his white cloak. For someone born with nothing, becoming a member of the Kingsguard wasn't just another promotion. It was everything. Honor, purpose, identity. The white cloak wasn't simply clothing. It represented the life he had spent years building. Unlike many nobles in Westeros, Criston actually believed in his vows, especially his vow of chastity. His honor wasn't something he possessed. It was who he was. Then comes Season 1, Episode 4, King of the Narrow Sea. Earlier that evening, Rhaenyra returns after her encounter with Daemon. Daemon has introduced her to a completely different way of thinking. The idea that members of the royal family don't always have to live by the same rules as everyone else. Whether that's right or wrong isn't really the point. Then she sees Criston, someone she's clearly admired for quite some time. She invites him into her chambers. Here's the detail I completely missed the first time I watched this scene. Criston doesn't immediately give in. He hesitates. He pauses. He looks conflicted. He knows exactly what's being asked of him. Then, he slowly removes his white cloak. The first time I watched that, I thought he was simply taking off his armor. The second time, I realized he was laying down the very identity he had spent his entire life earning. That cloak wasn't fabric. It was everything he believed himself to be. People often ask, if his vows meant so much, why didn't he just say no? But I don't think it's that simple. He's standing before the future queen, someone he already cares deeply about. And more importantly, I don't think Criston believed he was throwing away his honor for one night of pleasure. He believed he was doing it for love, for a future, a marriage, a family. In his mind, that sacrifice had meaning. That's why, later in the season, Criston asks Rhaenyra to leave everything behind. Cross the narrow sea, marry him, start over. This isn't just a romantic fantasy. He's trying to restore meaning to what he's done. If they marry, then breaking his vows wasn't meaningless. But then, Rhaenyra refuses. Not because she doesn't care about him, because she's the crown princess. She has duties that come before her own happiness. She still wants Criston in her life, just not as her husband. And that's the moment everything changes. Criston realizes they never understood that night the same way. The sacrifice that cost him everything didn't mean the same thing to her. He gave away the one thing he valued most, his honor, his identity, his vows, only to discover that the future he imagined never existed. That's not just rejection, it's devastation. Imagine spending your entire life climbing a mountain. Every sacrifice, every hardship, every choice, only to jump from the summit because you believed someone would catch you, then realizing they never intended to. That's how Criston seems to experience this moment, not as lost love, but as the destruction of his identity. And here's the tragedy. After that, Criston slowly becomes everything he once stood against. He breaks more vows. He begins a relationship with Alicent. He abandons the very code that once defined him. At first, that looks like hypocrisy. And it is. But I also think it's the behavior of someone who believes the man he respected died the night he broke his oath. Once he believed his honor was gone, he stopped believing it could ever be restored. None of this excuses Criston Cole. He's still responsible for every terrible decision he makes afterward. He becomes cruel, vindictive, violent, and I still don't like him. But after rewatching Season 1, Episode 4, King of the Narrow Sea, I stopped seeing him as just another villain. I saw a man who built his entire identity around honor, believed he sacrificed that honor for love, and then realized the meaning he attached to that sacrifice existed only in his own heart. I still don't like Criston Cole, but I don't hate him the way I used to, because now I understand him a bit better. Thank you so much for listening to me. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I'm a thinker, and if I'm being completely honest, I'm an overthinker sometimes. So this wasn't the interpretation, it was simply my interpretation. This is what I thought. This is how I understood the story. I genuinely had so much fun making this video, researching it, thinking about it, and finally, sharing my ideas with all of you. That's honestly my favorite part. Now I'd love to hear what you think. Did you agree with me? Did you completely disagree? Or did this video make you see the story from a different perspective? Whatever your opinion is, I genuinely love to read it. The only thing I ask is that we keep the conversation respectful. Stories mean different things to different people, and that's exactly what makes talking about them so enjoyable. We don't all have to agree, but we can always be kind. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like, subscribing, and joining me here on Talking Friday, where we talk about books, movies, series, songs, and the stories that stay with us long after the final page or the end credits. Until next time, this is Talking Friday, and I'll see you in the next one.